This video is going to be a little bit different than the videos that I normally put out, so buckle up. The other day I gifted a set of my books. I've written 2 books about corrections, about the negative effects that the correctional environment can have on an officer's mental health and emotional well-being. Number 1 is I wrote When Home Becomes a Housing Unit, and then I wrote The Nothing That Never Happened. Both these books are available on Amazon. If you haven't checked them out, go ahead and check them out. If you're a correctional officer, friend, or family member of a correctional officer, an aspiring, retired, or retiring correctional officer, check them out. Check them out. They're not stories about fights. They're not stories about gruesome things that I've seen inside. They're a collection of stories, personal stories that I've put into a book about how the environment, how the negativity that I'm exposed to, that all of us are exposed to, how it affects us outside, out of uniform, on our off time. And if you don't buy into this whole mental health thing, or that the environment has nothing to do with the way that we behave outside, then go watch another video. So I gifted a set of these books the other day to an acquaintance of mine, a person that I work with, and she's a licensed mental health practitioner. And I said, every time I give a set of books, I said, hey, read these, check these out, and then let me know what you think of them, right? Because I want to see the feedback, especially from people that work inside of this environment. So what she do, she starts reading them, like right there, like sitting 20 feet from me, starts reading them. And I don't know if you've written a book or painted a picture or build a giant Lego set, but to have somebody examine your work, read your work, listen to your music, look at while you're standing there, it's totally nerve-wracking, even for an asshole like myself. So she gets about 3 chapters in, right? In the first one, I think she's reading Home Becomes a Housing Unit first. She gets about 3 chapters in, and she says she has a question, right? So this is a licensed mental health practitioner. This is somebody who works inside the correctional environment. She says, here's what she says. She asked me a question. She goes, I have a question for you. If the environment, if the job is that bad, if it's that detrimental to your mental health and emotional well-being, why don't you just quit? And I get it, man. I know why she asked that question, right? Because that's the go-to. I get so many comments and emails, and it's so awesome that everybody's advice to every kind of problem that I present or anything that I talk about is just get another job, just quit. If the job bothers you that much, why don't you just quit? So she asked me, she says, why do you think that officers stay? Why do you stay? So I want to break it down for you a little bit today. I want to talk about why I think that we stay inside of that environment, and why that telling somebody to quit or just simply get another job is ridiculous. I've covered this before by podcasts and my other videos, but we're going to go over it again today. So I told her that I think that some officers stay because they're institutionalized, because they're hostages, because they don't think that they could do anything else. They're optionless. This environment has such kind of a weird way of holding on to you, of making you feel this odd comfort, right? And when you get far enough in your career, 5, 10, 15, 20 years in your career, what else are you going to do? I'm going to do a video here coming up on a job, on things that I would do if I was going to quit corrections. But for right now, when you spend that much time inside, it kind of changes you a bit. It's almost like being inside of an abusive relationship, right? Like you think that maybe you should go, but you really don't know where to go or how to go. So some officers are like that. They really don't know what to do. They don't know what else they would do. And they've been there so long that they don't really have any other skills. The other problem is that there's so much overtime, there's so much money laying around the halls that officers kind of overextend themselves on their bills. And so they have to keep working. They have to keep working the overtime. So quitting's really not an option. The other part of this is I truly believe that corrections is a calling, right? I think that the universe lines up to put us all in this kind of position. And that's fine if you don't believe me. I don't really care. This is my channel, so I'm gonna run with this, right? And part of my example, part of the reason I believe this is because nobody plays correctional officer and convict when they're growing up, right? Nobody plans to end up in this profession. And if they do, they usually think about doing it so they can get onto a police department, a sheriff's department, become a real law enforcement officer, right? That's what they really do. So somehow the world has all lined us up. And here's the beautiful thing about correctional officers. They're selfless, right? They're expending all of their emotional energy. They put all of this effort into helping and caring for and keeping people safe that society has thrown away, that they have discarded, that they said, we don't care about. Some of these people's families don't even care about them. We treat them better than anyone has ever treated them in their life. And that's kind of a crazy concept, and disagree if you want, but that's what I believe. So I think it takes a special kind of person to be a correctional officer, right? And if you feel like that's you, and if you feel like if your kind of heart is in service, if you feel drawn to help other people, a part of you may not want to walk away from that. A part of you may not want to walk away from your peers either. So I want you to think real hard. If you're a correctional officer, right? A current correctional officer, I want you to be honest. Have you ever thought about just quitting? Leave in the comments below. Let me know. Let us know. Have you ever thought about quitting? Just put a thumbs up in the comment. Have you ever thought about quitting? And then put your thumbs up and then tell me why you didn't quit. I don't care if it's money. I don't care if it's a pension. I don't care if you were too scared to get another. Tell us why, right? And that's part of the reason that I bet other officers haven't left either. And that's why I don't like that just get another job thing, because there's so many of us that really, if you think about it, if it boils down to it, probably most of us think about quitting several times a week. I know I do. No, I'm kidding. Not several times, but a couple of times. So put that thumbs up in the comments. Let me know, why didn't you quit? So here's the other thing, and here's the main reason, and I kind of go the long way about every answer, and that's why I script my videos so I don't get on a tangent like this. Most of you, according to my analytics, drop off anyway, so I don't care. But if you talk to a therapist, okay, if you talk to a mental health professional, if you talk to anybody who has been through any sort of trauma, who has had to go talk to somebody, who has had to get help to work through issues, the answer is almost never as simple as just leave, right? And if that was really the case, then why would veterans, combat veterans returning from a war zone, why would they continue to need help, to have conversations, to participate in therapy? Because they left the war zone. It should all be back there, right? If we use this logic, this just quit, just walk away, if we use that logic, if we use that logic, then they should be fine. Then anybody who is removed from the actual environment, right? So quit corrections. Say you're having a problem with a hanging victim. Say you're having a problem with somebody you did CPR on. Say you saw somebody get stabbed or sodomized and you're having an issue with that, which is pretty fucking normal for what's going on in there. So quit and go work at the post office. Quit and go do DoorDash, whatever it is. But I guarantee you that will not erase the things that are up here. That's not going to fix the crack, right? It may temporarily bring you relief, but I'm going to tell you what, as a guy who's seen a lot of bodies, as a guy who's seen a lot of crazy stuff in my life, I know that eventually those things resurface. Now, maybe not. Maybe you're a superhero. Maybe just simply quitting and walking away from it will be fine. But that's not the end-all, be-all answer, right? You can't just say to somebody, quit, go do something else, and think that they're going to be okay. Now, that may be part of your solution. Leaving that environment may be part of that solution, but it's not the only solution. You're still going to have to talk to a therapist. You're still going to have to do EFT, right? Have you ever done EFT? That's pretty good. It's a little tapping thing. Ba, 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 ba. You may still have to do EMDR. You may still have to take medication, right? But simply quitting, you're not going to go see a therapist and say, you know what, I can't sleep at night. I've got anxiety. Going in the housing unit triggers me. I don't think I can be a correctional officer anymore. They're going to say, well, just quit. Just quit. You know what? Don't worry about rescheduling another session. Just quit. And you're going to be like, oh, good, simple, great. I'm going to go bag groceries for a living. Guess what? It doesn't work that way. So when somebody says to quit, it's not that easy. And it kind of pisses me off a little bit because here's what happens. All right? We don't support our coworkers the way that we should. We just don't, especially in the mental health arena. We just tell them to quit because we don't have time. This is a whole nother video on why we don't do that, right? But okay, so they quit. So does that person get a false sense of security? Do they feel good? Do they be like, okay, yeah, good, I'm just going to quit. They told me to quit. I'm going to take their advice and I'm going to go home and everything's going to be okay. Then what happens when they're not okay? What happens when they can't sleep? Now they've just removed themselves from everybody that knows, right, that was there, that can relate to them. And then they're on their own because now and they're like, well, they said this was going to work. Everybody said this was going to work. I just quit, but it's not working. Now what are they going to do? I don't know. Some people may be nothing. Some people may drink. Some people may jump off a bridge, right? And that's the reality of it. That's why I don't like just telling people to quit, right? And there's going to be people that watch this video and they're going to leave shitty comments because they're shitty people. But here's the thing. It's not as simple as just quitting, right? And here's the thing. If you've never been punched in the face, if you've never been in a fight, you don't know how you're going to react. Right? So what do? We train people. We show people how to stand with their hands up. We tell people how to escort inmates. We talk about a reactionary gap. We do all of those things because they've never been in that situation, right? And then when some people get punched in the face, they know exactly what to do. They know how to react. But some of them don't do the best thing the first time, the second time, and we coach them up, right? We tell them, hey, maybe try this next time. Hey, maybe do this. And then guess what? They become pretty good. Hang on a second. They become pretty good officers. So why can't we do the same thing with mental health? Have you ever seen a dead body? They're fucking weird. And I covered this in my CPR video. If you've never seen a dead body, you may not know what to do. You don't know how you're going to react. You don't know if you're going to snap or not. And I do because I've seen a lot. But just because I can handle it doesn't mean that you should be able to handle it. So you got this person who watched an inmate take a head dive off the top tier and they can't sleep. So instead of telling them to quit, what if we had them go talk to somebody? What if we let them work through their problems? What if we gave them some time off? What if we acted the same way that we would act if they had a physical injury, and then they knew that we would support them? wait, sometimes we don't even support each other on the physical injuries. But what if we did that? I've seen that happen. And then the officer, you know what? They come back. They learn to process the event, right? They learn how to fight through their triggers, and then they stay. And they become good officers who know how to handle trauma when it comes their way. So what if we tried that? The problem is that takes a lot of fucking work. And when you have a bunch of people walking around that don't feel like the environment that they work in has affected them, even though it really has, they don't even know why they're being assholes. Look, it was a great conversation, and she's working on her second master's degree, which is super awesome. I love this lady. She wants to go into administration in a correctional facility in some way, shape, or form. And I think that she'll be awesome. And she thanked me. She said, thanks for your input. It's going to make me a better administrator moving forward. And I hope that she takes it to heart because here's the deal. You need people. Officers are your best tool to safely run a correctional facility. And if officers don't feel appreciated, if they don't feel like they have your support, then they're going to leave. And you might not be able to stop that. But do you want them? Do you even care? I mean, here's the thing. You have to care, right, about your staff. And even if your staff, I'm getting a little cottonmouth here, but you have to care. And even if your staff says, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I have to go. I have to get out of this environment. You should still want that person to be okay. And you should still tell them that there's other options and avenues and therapy treatments to help them. And you should tell them that. You should say, look, you can quit corrections. That's fine. It's not for everybody, right? I'll just throw that in there because you're going to say that anyways. It's not for everybody. But maybe you should still talk to somebody about the things that are bothering you. People, we need to start caring about people. We need to start protecting our fellow officers. Not only from the physical injury, but from the mental injuries as well. So the next time you're dealing with an officer and that officer is struggling, or you hear about an officer that you feel is struggling, or maybe administration is on board, and maybe they are giving this person some space, some time off to get help. Don't talk shit about them. Why don't you drop them a message? Why don't you shoot them a text and say, hey, are you okay? Take time to heal. I'm praying for you. I'm sending energy your way. Whatever you want to do. Bless a crystal or something. I don't know. But try not being a jerk. Try not being so cold and calloused and just move on. Because that's not what we swore an oath to do. That's not what we promised each other that we were going to do. So no, the answer is never just quit corrections. That may be part of the answer, but it's not just the answer. I'm super excited to engage in the comment section with you guys on this one for the 10 people that watch my videos and still engage in the comment section. I want to know what you think about it. Have you ever told somebody to just quit? Have you ever followed up with somebody? Do you think I'm way off base? I take this shit kind of personal. And I go a little hard in the paint. because I understand that it's okay to not be okay. I want to speak up for those that can't find the words to do it for themselves. If you like this video, if you found value in this video, straight punch that little like icon. Like, comment, and share this content with anyone and everyone that you think may be interested. Subscribe and click that little bell so you're notified every time I release another video. And if you're looking for more correctional content, head on over to my Facebook page. I'll post a link in the description below so you know where to go. All right, guys, one more time, I'm going to show you these. When Home Becomes a Housing Unit, The Nothing That Never Happened. They're both available on Amazon. If you want to dive into my thoughts on this a little bit more, if you want to read my stories that I shared, please check it out. If you have a hard time getting them, you can't find them, whatever, then shoot me a message, put it in the comment section. In fact, I'll drop links to the books in the comment section so you can see them. All right, guys, that's all I got. Until next time, be smart, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll talk soon.
Hey, yo, let's go. I feel like